Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Parker Sefstum, and welcome back to the Bloodtime Archives. Today we are going to be continuing Forgotten Corners with Episode 2. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the cut concept for a spinoff known as Five Nights of Bloodtime System Crash. Let's take a look at what I had in mind for a story. I should probably tell you guys that this game didn't actually get that much done. It was I don't know, 10% done before it got rejected. At most, all I really got done was a menu screen, an intro cutscene, and I think the office and one of the cameras, and that's it. So I'm gonna just say what I think the story was, because this game never really had all that much done. The story actually begins post Five Nights with Bloodtime 3. A new company, I believe, called Animation X, Animation X. Animation X decided to buy the Brandon brand because, in the Chronicles universe, Bloodtime is named Brandon. But for some reason, this would have been non-canon. I'm pretty sure I decided to make it non-canon because of the different art style or something. Yeah, I don't understand, honestly, dude. Nonetheless, Animation X buys Brandon and Buzz and brings it back. But one night, something just changed in Bloodtime. The Bloodtime virus by this point was pretty much gone. It couldn't be spread any further. So I was unsure what happened to Bloodtime. One day, Buzz was just broken. The employees walked in one day in the morning and found Buzz totally destroyed, but Bloodtime perfectly intact. It's still unknown why this is the case, but they decided to just put Buzz in the backstage until further notice, leaving Bloodtime the only performer. But yet, the Bloodtime animatronics seemed to perform better afterwards. Because of the suspicious things going on, they decide to hire a night guard. And that night guard is you, the protagonist. The security guard goes on to his first day and is talked to by Buzz, who actually has no ill intent whatsoever. He's heavily damaged, but he can still operate. He tells you that Bloodtime did this to him. Something from narcissism or whatever. I don't know, I'm trying to just remember what the story was. I haven't touched this game in months. Bloodtime becomes an active threat and keeps trying to attack the guard through multiple routes. Because this is also in a laser tag area, I will say. Because this game was meant to be a better version of Security Breach with Bloodtime for some reason. I don't really know why, to be honest, but still, I decided to go with that. Bloodtime attacked throughout all of nights 1 to 5, and at night 5's cutscene would reveal that the place suddenly had a flash of red, and Bloodtime just looked different now. This would be what I would call Blood Moon Bloodtime. And it would be much harder than just regular Bloodtime. The player would finish night 6, and Buzz and the protagonist would try to escape, only to be caught by Bloodtime. And I think that's just about it for the story. As you can tell, the story was not that fleshed out. It's probably for the best that this got rejected. While System Crash's development didn't really last all that long, it still had a pretty good impact on the rest of the series. It would set the standard for what would become the total failure of Death Destined. System Crash was too futuristic. So I thought, hey, why not take Death Destined, back in time? That ended up making Death Destined too dystopian. Yeah. But it also, System Crash also had the whole Buzz good, Bloodtime bad thing to make a Bloodtime the main antagonist again. I liked the idea, so it was brought back in Death Destined, but it was poorly executed. Even though System Crash would probably be forgotten, the Bloodtime design used for it is actually going to be making a comeback in the Legacy of Bloodtime's extension, or no, expansion I'd probably say, whatever, be the same thing. The expansion known as Genocide. It will be introduced as Forgotten Bloodtime. It uses modernized Bloodtime's design, but with Bloodtime's original coloring. And it'll probably be the last instance of modernized Bloodtime ever. And plus, nowadays, I've even considered bringing back System Crash, as it is some events of it. I do have another version of it, fully canon to Legacy of Bloodtime, but it's not going to be getting a game adaptation for obvious reasons. You know, again, back to Genocide, like, it literally has a direct reference or two to System Crash. I like this concept, but sadly, I can't bring it back. At least, not now. Maybe for Bloodtime's 3rd anniversary? We'll have to see. In conclusion, Finds of Bloodtime System Crash had great potential, but it needed to be reworked heavily. The concept I had in mind was fine, but really it was just kind of a Cured Reach clone, and probably was for the best that it got turned out anyway. Fun fact, I was talking about how Death Destined actually turned out with TheFantasticAero, and I asked him if he would pick Death Destined or System Crash, and he actually told me that, looking back, he'd pick System Crash. Which does mean that this concept has potential, but again, it needs to be reworked heavily. I'm probably going to change up a lot of things if I actually do end up ever making this a fully fledged game, but for now that's looking pretty unlikely. I may bring it back for Bloodtime's 3rd anniversary next year, but only time will tell. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Brief announcement for the channel, by the way. First of all, episode 3 is going to be covering the Finds of Bloodtime 3 abandoned book that got cancelled. And the big boy announcement, we have a new series on this little channel coming up called Art and Inspiration. Basically talking about how the design process of several Finds of Bloodtime aspects, but mostly characters. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.